Speaking of devolution, so devolution is that one is 47 devolved county governments, and then there's one national government. And the Constitution says the national government and the 47 devolved units must work in harmony. Okay? And so law establishes an Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, which serves as a secretariat. We've had the CEO here before, told us they serve as a secretariat for the summit, which brings together the national and the 47. The chair of the IGRTC is CPA Kithinji Kiragu. He's our guest today. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Karibu, sir.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. The greeting that we are giving each other today is, how are you feeling on this Katiba Day?
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel elated. I feel, I'm full of optimism for the future of the country. I feel we are on a journey, and that journey is taking us somewhere. Yes.
We're going to Mombasa. Are we in Naivasha? Or are we in Amali?
We are in Amali.
Okay.
Yes.
We're in the right direction.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, Janet is going to welcome you with the day's quote.
Today's quote is by Meaza Ashenafi. She's an Ethiopian lawyer, women's rights activist, and former Chief Justice of Ethiopia. And she once said, "A constitution must be a home for all. If some feel excluded, then it is just a piece of paper." Right? Again, it says, "A constitution must be a home for all. If some feel excluded, then it is just a piece of paper." What do you make of that? And do you think our constitution is a home or a piece of paper?
Okay. Well, that's a very interesting quote, actually. I don't know what year she quoted it, and I don't know whether, therefore, she inspired our own constitution. Because at the heart of this constitution is actually inclusivity. It is about justice. It's about fairness. Let me say that people live two lives: the spiritual and the material, whatever, life. For the spiritual, we have a Bible, a Quran, or even those without one, the Confucians or the Hindus, they also have their own texts, which guide them on the spiritual journey. For our material journey, this is the complement to the Bible. And if you read this constitution, as I say, and especially if you even go to even the Article 174, which brings about the devolution and talks about its objects, you can see that this constitution is about actually making sure that everybody is in it. And that the previous constitution, which was replaced by the 2027 constitution, was the one which was not worth the paper it was on. So that, to me, is a distinction. Now, I'll just say, as an opening remark that, the fact that, Christians do not follow the Bible very well, many of them, okay, maybe even 80% of them, even when they say our Father, how they forgive others, but they don't forgive even their own sisters, their children, then, does not mean the Bible is invalid. In the same way, that the fact that this constitution is not being applied by the priests of the constitution, because the priest of the constitution is the national leadership. Okay? And the local government leadership. The fact that they may not be following it does not invalidate the constitution. It still remains a very valid and important document for us. It may not be perfect. And also even in the Bible, sometimes you find some things and you are, are we there? So I think this document, when I look at it, and as a Kenyan who has lived long enough, who has a sense of where we have come from, where we are now, this constitution was a great milestone in the country. We have a manual for the management of the state, for management of public affairs. If we are failing, it is not because we don't know or we don't have the manual which tells us what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like Eric said, we've had the CEO Kipkurui Trepkoni.
Yes.
And we spoke to him about devolution, a lot of things. But I want to start with, again, an understanding, because we've realized the biggest link, weakest link perhaps, sometimes is us because of our lack of understanding of the Constitution.
Yes.
So the manual is there, it's us, as you've said as well.
Yes.
The IGRTC, the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee,
yes.
What is its mandate?
Okay. I think the best thing is also, again, to give it within the framework of the Constitution.
Yes.
Article 6 of the Constitution, which established the devolved system of government, says we have one national government and 47 county governments. That these two governments and levels of government are distinct but interdependent, and that they should work in cooperation, not in competition,
right.
in collaboration. Therefore, in that sense also, again, Article 189 of the Constitution now gives it an even higher emphasis to how these levels of government need to work in consultation, in cooperation, in coordination. Now, clearly, the reason why all those things are being put up is that it was clear that once you have two levels of government, the potential for conflict, the potential for disagreement, the potential, not even disagreement, or the potential that each will be doing things without reference to the other, without consultation, and therefore duplication of effort, therefore waste of resources, therefore absence of coherence in what is happening in terms of national socio-economic framework particularly. The framers of the Constitution that knew that this is a reality.
Right.
And that is why, therefore, the Constitution prescribed that Parliament would pass a law which facilitates this, and that is the Intergovernmental Relations Act of 2012.
Right.
That act established, first of all, an institution called the National and County Governments Coordinating Summit, which is the forum where the president and the governors are expected to meet at least twice a year to formally discuss what are the critical national issues that they need to collaborate on. And I say issues, but let me say programs, the way forward, the policies, the laws on which they need to collaborate to get the country to move at the right speed. In that same vein, then it established a technical committee which will support that summit, okay, to make sure that these two levels of government are working well together.
Right.
Therefore, what of the summit, the National and County Governments Coordinating Summit of the President and the governors, is the apex institution. It has a body below it, which is supposed to support it in its work. And that is why it is a technical committee.
Yeah.
Okay? And the whole idea, therefore, is that it feeds into the summit, follows up the things which are needed to be done by the summit. And on that basis, therefore, also assumes responsibility for what is not going on technically properly between the governors and the county governments.
Right.
It exists also to prevent conflicts between, anticipate and prevent conflicts between county governments and national government, but also even between counties.
Right.
It exists also to facilitate and promote, forums or identify opportunities for the two levels of governments to work together. And it exists also to make sure that none of the two levels of government is excessive in terms of is taking its mandate beyond the boundary of what the Constitution intended between the two levels of government.
Okay.
So that is really the range of things in which IGRTC is involved.
Right. I like that we have that because, again, we are working here from a point, want to work from a point of information. Now I want to speak to not just the chair of the IGRTC, but also a CPA, a CPAK. When we say funds follow functions constitutionally, what does that mean? And why is there still a big tussle? I know it will exist. Wherever money is, there'll be conflict. But constitutionally, funds following functions, what does that look like?
Well, the Constitution, first of all, it did not only just say that, it also said that so that the functions follow functions, at least 15% of the national resource base based on audited accounts of the latest audited accounts should follow the county government. So the Constitution went just beyond just talking about the spirit. It actually
Give a number.
Gave a benchmark of what is the minimum that should go to the counties to follow the functions. It indeed means, therefore, that there are functions which are being done at that particular time by national government, which by the dint of the Constitution, by establishing devolution, which needed to go to the county governments. Those functions, unfortunately, did not all go to the county governments, given the way we started. But it's not that bad, because actually, in many ways, those who were very involved in looking at how we were going to implement the Constitution actually anticipated that we would not have a big bang, which is what happened. You know, we established county governments at once, gave them responsibility for health at once, gave them responsibility for early childhood education at once, gave them responsibility for water, for agriculture at once. Many people, and there is some big publication on this by a team of Kenyan experts funded by Australian government and World Bank, called Devolution Without Interruptions, which was done in 2011. So many people expected actually to see chaos in Kenya if we did it with a big bang in the way we did. And therefore, you know, for those of us who are privy to these things, we say things actually worked better than we expected. But therefore, it meant we moved many more functions at that particular time than had been anticipated by. If we had followed technical advice from professionals, we would have had much fewer functions going to the county government. Maybe we would have said, let's establish county governments and let them just handle ECD. and you know, let's not handle health. Let them not. Are we together? Let them not. Let them not handle one aspect of agriculture and so forth. That's not what happened. Therefore, in that sense, in that big bang, it didn't mean we moved very many functions to the county governments, but then we went only for the minimum of what it was in terms of transferring resources to them. And that is why it is still a journey we are on. One of the things which IGRTC has now concluded very clearly is that in a Gazette notice which we issued in December last year, and which also got some elaboration in another supplementary Gazette notice in June this year, we clearly indicated now what are the functions of the county governments. And therefore, to that extent, what are things which are happening in the national government, which should happen in the county governments. And to that extent, and to the extent that there are resources at the moment in the national government for those functions which should be performed by county governments, the national government should release them to the county governments. And that is the work we have embarked on at the moment, to identify the resources that which national government is using to perform functions which belong to county governments, but which they should not be handling.
And there's some examples.
Yeah.
Can you give us 2 examples of some things that funds are retained at the top level, functions that are devolved? Okay,
but let me also finish this framework. That also it is envisaged in that Constitution that a county government can decide to transfer its function to the national government. So, for example, if a county government chose that its early childhood education program is better managed by the national government, and it can approach the national government as an individual county and say tafadhali saidieni sisi kusomesha watoto wetu wadogo. Okay, then they must all the resources which they have been using for that, they should take it also now to the national government budget.
They return.
Pigs will be flying.
So that hasn't happened.
We saw it.
We've seen it in some.
It is happening.
It has happened.
Because it is happening because in the school feeding program, okay, in the school feeding program, no, it has happened the other way. Okay, let me say it is happening in one particular respect at the moment which you are handling.
Okay.
There is a vocational training program in Murang'a and 1 or 2 centers where the county government of Murang'a has decided it is best that the national government manages this vocational training. Therefore, it is taking that function to the national government. It has to move with the resources involved in it and so forth. The teachers in it and so on, which the national county government is using in that center, have now also to go to the national government.
The example I was giving, Chairman, was the one that we saw Nairobi handed over some functions to the national government, the NMS. That's how the NMS was created.
The only caveat to the NMS is that it was not procedurally established.
Yes, it didn't follow due process.
It did not follow due process, but that was that was an aspect of it. But now they are talking about national government, where resources should be
some money.
There are many. There are many. You know, if you hear the governors are very clear. For example, that when the national government is involved in the distribution of fertilizer, that is their function. Okay, and in many aspects of agriculture, you hear when a national government Ministry of Water is establishing small dams and water bans, that is a county government function. It should not do. You hear when Kiragu is doing roads which are in law county, because under the Constitution and Schedule 4 of the Constitution, there are only 2 categories of roads: national trunk roads, national. Everything else is county government. They have everything else which the national government does in roads which are not trunk roads. And the Constitution, and we have elaborated also in the Gazette what those roads are. Then those functions belong to county governments. And therefore the function should go, and the resources to do it by the county government should go to the county government.
How about instances, Chairman, where we have seen the sufficient philanthropy of the national government, or so they camouflage it as, to donate some resources to counties to perform some functions that are obviously devolved. For example, CHPs. So we are seeing community health promoters, and the national government is supporting by paying half of the allowance for CHPs, and the counties are paying the other half. Is that
proper?
Well, back to collaboration, back to distinct but interdependent. Back to Article 189 of the Constitution about working together. Back to Article 187 of the Constitution about them entering into intergovernmental partnership agreements of how they are going to work together to perform a function. And let me therefore say, in terms of CHPs, there are 1 or 2 aspects of it. For example, when cholera breaks out, it is not county confined.
Right.
I see.
Are we together?
You work in Nairobi, live in Kiambu, cholera.
Exactly.
Are we together?
Yeah, makes sense.
Therefore, from where I stand, the important thing is that the 2 levels of government need to sit together. It should be, as long as the 2 levels of government have agreed how they are going to work together, there is no absoluteness. So that division of responsibility, what the Constitution does is to make sure that there is nothing absolute one way or the other. And I will say this, because even in all the devolved functions, according to the same constitution, the responsibility for policy
only
belongs to the national government. The development of national registration overrides county registration. What that also, but more importantly for me, is the policy aspect. What that means is therefore that, you know, the national government has a responsibility to provide. When you say policy, in the ordinary language, I would say the national government has a responsibility to provide thought leadership to the nation in every sector. Are we together? Therefore, we should not be having ECDE where the national government says that is a county government function, therefore they are not involved. No. They have to be involved because
they should get out
the
of our
ECD children will end up going to the national primary schools. So we need to make them well prepared to go to the national system. And therefore the two levels of government, and I would say from a technical point of view, the biggest problem we have had with the implementation of devolution is how between the counties and ministries, they have failed to sit together, to think together in terms of strategy for developing every sector. And on that basis, agree in what areas we are going to do things through collaboration. These are the things you will do alone. These are the things I will do. These are the resources available for this sector. Because again, you know, sometimes we miss the debate. Because, you know, at the national level, we can, for example, if we agree, we want to accelerate agriculture to do a 10% growth every year, because agriculture is critical to Kenya. Okay?
National security.
Yes. Now, what
food.
do we need to do at the, what policies do we need and what strategies do we need for the country? And given this is what we want, this is what we need you to do as county governments. You need, if it is strong extension services, this is what you need. Do you have it at the moment? And we have Kenyans who can tell them whether we have good extension services in the counties or not. And if they are not there, what are we going to do? The Constitution provides that if the counties don't have good extension services, the national government has a responsibility to develop the capacity of the county governments to have good extension services. Again, it's a constitutional mandate, responsibility given to the national government by the Constitution.
Excuse me. What does responsibility mean in that case? Does it mean that then the national government goes ahead to recruit on behalf of the county and pay and retain the staff? Or does it mean that you come up with a rapid program that supports the counties to recruit?
You know, let's use the word rapid, which we have used now.
Yes.
Yes. If you want to transform our agriculture rapidly, okay, it means some things we'll have to do. First of all, let's first of all agree. They need to sit together and agree what does that rapid mean. What is the strategy for rapid change? Okay? And having agreed on the policy for rapid change, what can you do best? What can I do best?
Okay.
Because it is in the interest of both parties. Because both the national and county governments, the leadership, should be concerned about the socio-economic transformation of the country. Each of them lives within the same space. Therefore, it is not a question of the national government sitting to somewhere and deciding to recruit for county governments. No. Neither is it that the county government should sit somewhere and do it alone.
And pass the bill.
Okay? But of course, what is happening is if the national government fails to do that, therefore, I'm not suggesting that there are no counties where the leadership sees the gaps in the national strategies and policies, and it takes its own initiative to drive. And therefore, the counties which have got smart governors, okay, will move on at a better speed than the country, okay? The counties which have not so smart governors, their pace of movement will be lower than the national movement. But ideally, of course, everybody should be really moving forward fairly fast, given the state of the nation.
I don't know why I feel like the county versus national collaboration and coordination tussle is beyond policy. It's goodwill. So how do you even bypass? It just seems to be an ongoing tussle because I don't even want to call it teething problems. We're 15.
We're 15.
But that's still...
We're
at molars. In fact, devolution from 2013. How many years?
12 years.
12 years. I think I'm hearing this and I get the technical elements and the constitutional elements. I feel like it's bigger than that. So how do you reconcile the fact that there's still a genuine tussle that sometimes can almost feel personal, depending on who is tussling with who, when you're trying to make sure that devolved functions, some of them are carried out by the county, some of them are still held at national. But do you see it more as sometimes a political, personal tussle that supersedes policy? And if you do, how do you, in your personal capacity, try to address it?
Okay, I mean, you are right. I think we have to look at it at 3 levels. In the first instance, there are still many national political leaders who have not appreciated the critical place of devolution in the social transformation of the country. And part of it is ignorance, because we have not studied the law. Part of it is about self-interest. Therefore, you know, so like when members of parliament insist that they must have CDF, it is more of self-preservation of their resource base rather than, you know, the interest of what the Constitution intended to deliver.
Or the people.
Okay? All right, okay. And therefore, also, if you talk to them about removing Kera, they will also be against it because they see the governors becoming stronger than them. It is not therefore about whether what is the best way forward. But therefore, for some of us, what we have to keep them reminded is that if this devolved system of governance is not working, this country cannot move at the necessary speed. Talking about what we talked about, rapid transformation of agriculture, for example. It cannot move until the 2 levels of government are working well together. And therefore, you have around the devolved system of governance to work. And since we are not about to change this constitution to move out from devolution, then it had better work. And as I said, there are 2 aspects, there are 2 categories. Some of them have to do with self-interest. Some of it has to do with ignorance. You have not bothered to study the Constitution. You have not bothered to understand what the devolution was supposed to deliver to the people.
Right.
Then I would also say that there is also a problem at the technical level. That, of course, we came from a centralized system. Therefore, there are still many people in the bureaucracy of the national government, below even cabinet secretaries, below PSs, who are very important because they are the ones who, you know, who handle the political leadership, who also have not even bothered to understand devolution.
Right.
Okay, and we don't. This is something we say, so it's not just for the sake because we are on TV.
Yeah.
This is something we say in their forums, and you can see that, you know, sometimes the leadership is willing. Even a minister would be wanting to do the right things, but they force, you know, his army, because when you go to a ministry, the people you work with is the army of public servants who you find in that space. Okay? Now, if your soldiers are not willing, how do you move? Okay? So there's a lot of work which needs to be done. But having said all that, let me say again, obviously, even at the local level, meaning therefore at the county government level, in many ways our politics is very toxic in this country. And you know, if you ask me, part of the work, maybe part of the major change which we should do in this constitution is what do we need to fix in this constitution to make our politics less toxic. And I will not go to that topic today because that's not why you invited me. But if you invite me for that, I can go to it. What
we have a
needs to change in this constitution
Yes.
to make our politics less toxic.
We have a date.
And I say that because based on work which I've done, on public sector management and politics. There are things which need to be fixed to make this country less politically toxic. And until that is cured, then of course the self-interest also becomes very important.
Right.
Because again, in a book we have done with a professor of political science in Tanzania, based on studies across the continent, it is clear that when politics is of the nature of Kenya, it is open, it is fiercely competitive, it is got it has got corruption in it, which starts from the constituency level, not at the national level. You know, people are bribed to put their votes in certain places. You know, then you have also got all these many strong institutions, strong trade unions, strong. Are we together?
Yes.
When all these things in that thing, then politics is necessarily toxic, and politics undermines national governance. It undermines actually national development. Yeah, and we need to look for a cure into it, which is not driven by politics, but an objective assessment of what is the best framework beyond what this constitution prescribed for handling the issues of the politics of this country.
Quite literally, too many cooks spoil the broth.
Yeah.
Too many cooks, right? There's a question here that got me thinking about the president. Where is this? On markets, actually. Job Njiru says, Eric, Jano, and Mariam, get ready to smile and laugh this Katiba Day when Mr. Kiragu speaks. He is always a rib cracker while giving insights. That's an appreciation of you. Bakari Sagnas says, DP Kithure Kindiki reported that national government is constructing modern markets in Mwatate in Voi and Wundanyi in Taita County. Isn't this a function of the county government? And that speaks to, again, what are our levels of understanding, even at the very top?
Okay. I think, again, I've talked about the national and county governments coordinating summit. These markets, the building of this market has been discussed between the governors generally and His Excellency the President. So no governor can say it is a surprise. Okay? And as far as our understanding is, as IGRTC, the national government, it's back to that. You remember we talked about rapid transformation. As far as the better program was concerned, and the economic team of the president was concerned, the building of these markets is rapid building of these markets was critical to the transformation of business environment in the country.
Okay.
All right, okay? And of course, the national government was also afraid that this will not necessarily receive priority in the county governments. But it is not also just a priority. It might be a priority in the county governments, but for example, if you came to Embu, my home county, and you said you are going to build a 1 billion shilling market in Embu town, the MCAs in the county budget will say, no, you cannot do this budget for 1 billion for Embu town in one ward. You better give us 100 million in each of the markets, and and the MCAs will put the markets anywhere, and even when they go to their wards, they will put it in a certain corner which favors them. Okay, so this is the nature. These are the politics we are talking about. Okay, therefore it is easier for the national government to be the one identified with identifying of these markets and so on, and therefore build big markets.
Okay.
Are we together?
Okay.
But it is understood that they are not there without the welcome of the county government.
How do you formalize that agreement?
It's called Intergovernmental Partnership Agreement.
So did they sign, for example, for markets?
There are some where they have been signed, there are some where they have not been signed, but the process of signing them is on board, and it is understood that national government will not operate markets.
Should such an agreement be discussed at the county assembly?
All right, and before
signing.
Not before signing, before implementation and launching and all
Okay,
of
now,
those things.
first, if they are not in the budget of the county government, okay, then they are not part of the allocation that the MCAs preside over. Okay, this is national government implementing policy in collaboration with the executive of the county governments. It does not say that they are not involved at all. They get involved because they do get, okay, they do get to know about what we call county additional allocation and so forth. So they are privy to it. What we are, I think your question should be a little bit different. Should this money not be managed at the county level? In which case then the county assemblies make that decision, where it will be located and so on. But I've just given you the reason why, from a national strategic perspective, it may not be prudent, okay, to give this money. And I'm not therefore defending that should be the framework under which we operate.
Just explaining.
Are we together? But on the other hand, from where I stand, given what I know that there are reasons why sometimes the national government is happier to do these things on the basis of a conditional grant, and even the development partners and the governors sometimes are happy that things are done the way they are done outside the framework of the budget that is subject to the politics, internal politics of a county government.
Sorry.
Yes, time.
Yes, I know, but I know you have a quick
No,
one.
I just wanted to do some feedback, but go ahead.
I wanted to ask CPA Kithinji, capacity building for the IGRTC from 2012. When you speak of the fact that, there's many people still operating with the ministries of pre-constitution, with that mindset, and it can make things hard to do. Then I think of Kenyans as well. We still largely don't have an understanding what's devolved, what's not. So is that one, the mandate of the IGRTC, to build the capacity across all levels of government, so people have an understanding of devolution and national and all of that, and how those two things interplay? Is that the mandate of the IGRTC? And if so, what's been done? What more could be done? If not, whose job is it to have an understanding? Especially, I'm thinking across the public service.
Okay. Two things. One is, as I've said, general capacity building of county governments is partly a responsibility partly of the national government, and the State Department for Devolution has a responsibility for that. Now, in terms of promoting an understanding of devolution, we know we have a responsibility. And if I had money, I would do much more in terms of convening forums. For example, even for taking members of National Assembly, okay, taking Senate through some of these things, that we do get involved in some of these activities. But I would say, if we had money, also we would probably do more, and maybe especially those people in civil society need to do much more in terms of getting the population to understand the nature of the Constitution. So that is work which still needs to be done. And I would say literally everybody has a responsibility here in that respect.
Okay, let me quickly read some feedback.
And in that respect, you are the media houses
also has a responsibility.
Have a very heavy responsibility, which is what we are doing now.
Yes.
In educating Kenyans about devolution. Yes.
Charles Ndungo, he's citing the thing around the Constitution, I think, and the president. I'll create a mess, and then I'll seem to be doing things to correct the mess that I created to impress on the people to give me another chance. Gaslighting 101. Africa VR
also
Campus.
the compensation framework.
Yes. Let me create the mess, then seem to be doing things to correct the mess that I created to impress the people to give me another chance. Africa VR says, Mariam asked for a free VR demo for your panel. Please communicate when we can provide one for your panel as we tell you how we are using it. Noted.
Please, can you text, just WhatsApp us?
Please, 0112 500 400.
Yes.
Please WhatsApp us so that we can have you. That would be incredible. It will be a very dizzying show, but it'll be fun.
But it will be a good one. We'll leave a little woozy, but it will be worth it.
Bakari Sagna, executive-led task force for compensating victims of police brutality may be declared unconstitutional by the courts because it usurps mandate of KNCHR, judiciary, and IPOA. Moses Bayer says, our culture is the problem, not the constitution. Tell me a tribe in Kenya that allows young people to speak in front of elders. None. Our leaders were brought up with that mentality. Charles Dungo, speaker, following up on what Nerima said, a wave is the first big step towards freedom. However, it should have a large number of representatives that are people-centered. Some rotten fruits will sneak their way through. Okay, right. Now, Bakari Sagna also says, what is IGRTC's position on NGCDF?
I think he had already given
He's already given that. He's also, I know Charles is asking, does he truly believe we're on sound ground, or is the statement meant to appease certain quotas? I think yeah. People are approaching it with skepticism when we say we're on sound ground. But I think you've already spoken to.
I've talked about the toxicity of our politics and so forth.
Yes. And
but let me make one small point about the youth. I wanted to be a member of parliament when I was 30. And I actually stood. And was in my praise actually supported me. Therefore, the challenge for the youth is their local credibility within their communities. Because that was 1983. Okay? And I can tell you, I was standing against people who are my age now, who are my age at that time. Are we together? And I can tell you, okay, I know I was officially announced to be number 2, but I think I was number 1. Okay?
But you accepted
that. You know, and I accepted. But the point is very simple. That actually, I mean, I will tell you, even after that election, when I lost it, do you know what happened to the Wases of the village? And I was 30. They said now, because we had just, our chief had just retired, they came to me and said, now that this seat of parliament went, we want you to be our chief. And they started calling me Mzee. So the issue for the youth is their credibility at the local level. Are we together? And let me even say, because also I watched this, when I look at this parliament, it's made of young people. The current parliament is made of young people. I mean, I don't know how much younger you can go other than electing students.
Really?
But this parliament, many of the MPs, at least 40% of the MPs in this parliament are under 40 years of age.
No, actually, they're only 80.
They're only 80. The ones under 40.
When you had the chair of the Young Parliamentarian Association, he told us that those under 40.
I thought those under 35.
Those under 40.
It was under 40.
It was under 40.
He moved the needle a little bit.
Okay, so anyway, what I'm going to say is that, you know, in many cases, even the MPs who have let down people, they are young. They are not necessarily old. Okay? So let people have most MCAs in any case are young people.
That's true.
Am I right? So, and therefore, even the mess going on in the counties, it's also by young people. So let them also do a check on how their own contemporaries are doing before they come and sell the idea that, you know, because we are young, we'll do a better job. They have to show a sense of responsibility. And what I'm saying is that, therefore, even at the very early age, even when people like Olengo were elected to parliament, they were young. They were not 35. Am I correct?
You're correct.
That's true.
Okay? They were not that, you know. So, you know, so it is not the first time that we are electing young people. What people need and what our people need are credible leaders. And I would say, in fact, even when we talk about corruption in elections and so on, if people have demonstrated credibility and so on, the people elect them. You know, when some people say we should not be electing people who are Kondi or bicycle or whatever, but it is because they have given themselves to the community. And
credibility on the ground.
You have seen people in Meru, which is a very traditional society, elect an MP who is 26 years of age and return him to parliament. Am I correct?
Yep.
Or am I talking?
No, you're right.
It's insightful.
Okay? It's insightful.
Therefore, the people are looking for leaders, even if they are young and they are 25 years old, but they have indicated to their communities that they can make a good contribution. They are elected, and that has been happening in this country. Yes, that is the challenge that there is.
We are completely out of time. Thank you so much. I hope you'll continue to mark the rest of Katiba Day today.
Right.
I will.
Would I ask just for 30 seconds to know what you wish for Katiba at 30?
Yes.
Well, it is not the wish for Katiba. It is what Katiba will deliver to us by 2030. And it will deliver, I believe, by 2030. Short of this country falling apart, it will fulfill, it will generally, everybody will know what the Katiba wants of us to do. That everybody will be included in development, there will be fairness, there will be justice all out, okay? And that nobody will have been left behind.
That's really good.
Like
ask not what you can do for the Katiba, ask what your Katiba can do for you.
Right.
Something like that. A reversal.
Yes.
Yoga and wellness for beginners at home is what's coming up on Your World. I know we also have a parliamentary proceeding, but we will see. So that's with Mikali and Winnie on Your World. That's a look at the poster if you're watching on TV. And then on Vibe Shift as well, we have Claudia Naisabu and Brian Aseli.
That's right. They'll be with you from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yes.
So keep it there, 96.3 Nation FM. And of course, across all our platforms, we'll catch you tomorrow. It's Thursday.
Yes.
I talk up at 6 to 10 a.m. From us, it's been an amazing morning. Thank you so much to CPA Kithinji Kiragu and to our guests as well. We really, really do appreciate you coming, Professor Kibudha Kibwana and Nerima Wako. Tupatane kesho asubuhi.
Happy Katiba.